everyone, my name is Drew Staples, and today we are going to be building a project with data analysis to output what countries have the biggest population growth. So the tools that we are going to be using for this are Python, Pandas, and Matplotlib. So if you haven't already, go ahead and open up Google Colab and open up a coding block. And if you haven't already, click on the link below in the description to download the data set so you can follow along with me. So the first thing you're going to be doing is importing your packages. So go import pandas as PD, import matplotlib.pyplot as PLT. Alright, so now that we imported our packages, which we probably should have done this first, but I guess it doesn't really matter. Make sure you go to your files, and I already have this uploaded from before because I was actually working on this like a little second draft of it recently, so I still have this up and running. But if you just click on upload, it should take you to your local storage, and you should be able to find your country's data set in there. Okay, and then you just click on there, and then it should show up. It should show up there. So once you do that, we're gonna go ahead and upload it to Google Colab now. So we'll call this Countries Data Frame. I believe it was just called Countries. Yes. Okay. And it's just good practice to make a copy of it. So this literally is the exact same as this, but just in terms of like if we were to mess this up, we don't have to keep like re-downloading, our data set. We can just use our copy. So it's just something I like to do for good practice. So now that we have that copy, let's just make sure that we have everything in working order. So if you type in your variable, or which is your data frame, and you type in .head, it'll give you the first 5 in your data frame. So you see we have 3 columns here, and you see we have some information. We got country, so it looks like they're all Afghanistan. We have year, so 52, 57, 62, 67. So these are stepping every 5 years, and then looks like we have the population for that said year. So let's just go ahead and I'm going to type in 13, so it'll give us the first 13 in the list. Okay, so if you look down here, this Afghanistan list, so it looks like there's 12 of them. It ends here, and then it looks like Albania starts. So there's probably 12 Albania. And then it goes on to the next country and whatnot. So let's find out some information about what we're actually working with here. So our data frame is called countries, but let's just make sure that it actually is a data frame and not something else. You never know. It's just good practice to always, know what type you're working with. Can't type today. So we have 1,704 rows, and we have 3 columns. So if we want to, okay, so the first thing that we actually want to do with this data set, at least in terms of the problem that we're trying to solve, so if we're trying to figure out what countries have the biggest population growth, I necessarily don't need to know how many countries are in there right now, but I'm actually about to find that out. kind of kill two birds with one stone. So what we're actually about to do is we're actually going to be separating them and making our own subset data frames of just the countries with the 1952 year and with the countries of the 2007 year. So the problem, remember, the problem that we're trying to figure out is what countries have the biggest population growth. And yes, I mean, obviously it only goes up to 2007. So that's, I mean, yeah, so I mean, this is inaccurate because it's, 2019 right now. So it is not up to date. But just in terms of this project, that's just what we're working with right now. So, yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. So we don't necessarily need all these other rows in here. We just need the Afghanistan from the 1952 with this population, because what we're going to be doing is taking this population and taking the difference between this number and then the number from 1952. Okay. So let's go ahead and make our subset. Actually, we want to make sure we give it a variable name. So you want to give your subset data frame a variable name. So that way you can merge the two data frames together. So I'm just calling it C52 for countries 52 from like the year. You can call whatever you want though. So we're using the loc. We're using the .loc method from our data frame that's going to allow us to take the year or take whatever row we want and figure out some sort of condition to get just back that information under that certain condition. So we want the year column to equal 1952. And then we're going to do the same thing for the 2007 year. So I'm just going to call it CO7. It's just the same thing. Except we want the year now to equal 2007. All right, just to make sure that everything is working, everything is okay, I didn't mess anything up. Okay. So yes, okay, so yeah, you can see that under this variable we grabbed the 2007 year, so you see it's only 2007. So if we were to take the shape of this, it would actually, since there's only one country per year, it'll actually give us the the amount of or how many countries there are, which there's other ways to do it, but I just it was going to happen anyway, so I figured I might as well just show you that. So one good practice to do is to always make sure anytime you come out with some sort of output is to figure out what the type is, just so you know what you're working with and you know what methods and attributes to use. So we'll just go ahead and put this all on the same line. Okay, so yep, they're both data frames, and you can see that there's 142 instances, so that means that there's 142 countries we're working with. And we have 3 columns. So let's see. Now that we got these two subset data frames, now we need to merge them together. And we're actually going to give that a new, we'll give that a new name as well. So we'll give it a new variable name. So we'll just call it pop growth for population growth, I guess. And so we'll take this, take the C52 data frame, so all the countries from the 1952 with their population from 1952, and we're going to merge it with CO7. So our CO7 variable. Our CO7 data frame. So if some of you probably have heard of concat, which is short for concatenation. If we're going to be merging them together, which is what we want, we're going to actually putting them side by side. So our output will have these two data frames side by side, so it'll extend out here. But if you concatenate them, that means that that data frame that's in these parentheses will be at the bottom of this instead. So it won't be on the side, which is what we want. It'll be at the bottom. Which it's a little bit more messy. You can still make it work, but this would be how I would do it. So okay, so you need to put in what data frame that you're going to merge, obviously, and then a couple parameters. You have left on, so which column do you want to have on the left side, and then you're also going to have a parameter which column do you want to have on the right side. So sorry, I had just a little brain fart there. So since this country, we want this country to be on the left side, and it's the same exact thing. We're going to have the country be on the right side, but in this case it'll actually cut it off and we will not see it. So it'll be country, year, population, and then year, population again. So it's pretty cool how it works. Check this out. Okay, so you can see that we got our country, we got our year 1952, population for that year 2007, and population Y, which is for the year 2007. So like I was saying, if we use concat, then this would have been below this data frame, but instead of beside it. So yeah, as you can see that. Let me go ahead and make sure. I just don't want all that space there. Okay. I'm sorry, I'm just looking over my notes really quick. I'm just making sure I'm not missing anything if I wanted to show you guys anything really quick. Okay, so right back to it. So okay, so we got our country, we got our years, and we got our population. So in order to tidy up this data, we don't necessarily need these year columns there. By just looking at this, how I would set this up is I don't really like these column names, so I'm going to go ahead and drop these columns, the ones with the years, and just rename these columns, the population, to instead of population X, so I'm just going to name it population 52. And then I'm just going to name this population 07. So, and that's just a good practice just to tidy up your data. So you're going to type in not dot growth, pop growth, which is our variable, which is our data frame, and then you're going to use the drop. You use the drop method. And in that drop method, you're going to put brackets. So because we're going to be using multiple columns. We want to get rid of the year X. We also want to get rid of year Y. And with this access parameter, this is telling it that we want to get rid of the columns. So this one is it's going to go down instead of across. Okay, so you can see we got just country, our population X, and our population Y. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm probably just going to rename these really quick then, just because it's just a good practice, because I mean population X, population Y, that doesn't really make sense. So bring up your data frame again. So, oh, I messed up again. So I keep typing dot growth. It's underscore growth. So your data frame, and then you're going to use the rename method. And within that rename method, you're going to be putting in your parameters of the columns that you want to change. So you call it columns, so that's the parameter. Put equal sign, and then you make a dictionary, and then the key of the dictionary is the old column name. So we're going to put in population X, and then your value will be what your new column name will be. So we're going to go ahead and do that for both the population X and the population Y. I wanted to call this population 52. Alright, so population X is going to be called population 52. And then population Y is going to be called population 07. And then just another parameter, just going to put in place true, so our values are in place. And actually, we won't figure out the type yet. Let's just see what it looks like first. So we'll just bring up the first 5 just to see. Okay, oh yeah. Okay, so I made a mistake. You see how the years got brought back up again? I just forgot to, when I dropped them, I didn't put them in a variable. So, and I didn't save the variable. So I need to go ahead and drop those again. We'll just do that really quick together. First, just make sure it's just find out the type. It's just good practice. You're gonna hear me saying that a lot. So we're gonna go ahead. So what we didn't do before is just save it to a variable, which I'm just gonna call it the same thing. So what are they called? They're called year X and year Y. Then our axis is 1 because we're going down. So 0 is row, 1 is column. That's just what that refers to. Okay, so that, I mean, if you can tell that, I mean, that's pretty much all the information we need if we're going to try to just solve this problem. And like I said, I encourage you guys to, if you're following this, to take this, to tweak it, to make it your own. If you guys know more about geography and the whole economics of the GDP and all that stuff. If you guys are very informative about that, then definitely take this project and make it your own and do something with it. And definitely, because you can see that this data set's very limited. This is just to get you more comfortable in the mindset of projects, but definitely explore on the internet for what interests you the most, and just look at these data sets and learn about it too. Don't just grab some random thing and just try to figure something out. Just try to learn more about it too as well. It's only going to make you that much more better. And not that you need to be a specialist in it, but it's just a little bit of knowledge, some basic knowledge of what you're working on always helps. So just so we don't have all that there. Okay, so what I want to do now actually is before we plot anything, what I actually want to do is, because I'm imagining when I was making this, I was imagining a bar plot. And so basically what I want to get is I want to take the difference between this and this, make a new column, and then I want to plot that data of what the difference of these two are. So very simply, in order to make a new column, you just take your data frame, pop, growth, brackets, and then you're just going to type in whatever column name you want to, whatever you want to call it. You're just going to type it as if it's already in existence. So we're going to call this, I don't know, let's call it population growth equals pop growth. So we're going to grab this column here. So it's called population 07, and we're just going to subtract it to the other one, population 52. And I'm just going over my notes really quick, making sure I didn't forget anything. Right, and that should do it. Population is not defined. Let's see. Oh, I wasn't paying attention. I called it population. Called it the wrong variable name. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and bring it up. Just to make sure it's working. Okay, cool. I always like to do this just to confirm my math. It's just good practice. Just type this in raw right here, and then just do the math yourself and see if it comes out to be that exact result. So this is 842 plus 318. I was taking the sum of these. What am I doing? Two, 3, 4, 6, 4, 5, 9, 0. Okay, so this is a good thing because my math is not adding up. Okay, so let's figure this out together. So 31889923 minus 842533. Is it really that? Okay. Wow, I'm sorry that took so long, guys. That shouldn't have took as long. So, but as you can see, that we got the right math, we got the right number, right outcome. So, okay, so what we want to do next is we want to go ahead and, okay, so we got all this now. What we want to, basically now we have our data frame, we have our output. This is what we wanted to get in the result of what we were trying to do. Now we want to visualize it. Now we want to be able to take this data frame, because this essentially, you know, if you're going to show somebody who's non-tech, this doesn't really mean much to them. Like, they're just looking at numbers, and you know, people are more visual in general. So let's go ahead and plot this data. So what we want to do is, because we already imported Matplotlib at the beginning, first thing we're going to do is we'll make our figure size, which is plt.figure, and then inside you're going to put fig size. And I was toying around with it. You know, you can definitely mess with this if to learn it and get more adjusted to the different sizes. But in this circumstance, I guess I'll just do like, I'll try 10 and 10 actually. And then what we're going to do is we're going to make our x-axis now for our bar plot. So with that, we'll call this top countries. Oh, you know what I didn't do? Okay, this is good then, because you never know. People make mistakes, and you know, it's better to, you know, find them before you actually, you know, waste any more time. So if you notice, I have the population growth, but you know they're not in order right now. So what I need to do is just put them in order really quick. So let's go ahead and just do that. I apologize, but honestly, it's not even with just a simple line of code we'll be able to do it. So we'll just call it the same variable name, pop growth, and then we're going to call it pop growth, and we're going to use the sort value method. Sort values, and we want to sort it by population growth. And with this parameter, if we type in ascending and we make it false, that means that we're actually going to get the highest number first, and we're going to get and it's going to descend down. You know what? I sorted these values, but instead, let's go ahead and add this up here. Let's go ahead and add the head method and make it a 10. That way we just get the top 10. And then we'll just call pop growth. Should just give us the top 10. Okay, cool. Awesome. So what you could also do is reset this index if you wanted to. That's what I would do, just, you know, preference. So it's actually here. Let me just show you that really quick, because it's honestly just a one-liner. So we'll call it again. We're going to call it the same variable name. I wasn't going to bring this up in the video, but I'm like, you know what? It's so easy. I might as well just show it to you. So we're going to use the dot reset index, okay, so we have our index that's resetted, but now we have this index, which was our old one. So let's just go ahead and just drop this really quick just to tidy up our data, and then after that it should be it. That'll be the rest of it. Then we can finally plot our data, which I know what you guys are waiting for. So let's go ahead and drop, what's it called? Axis. It was called index. Yeah. So we're going to drop this index column right here. That's what that means. So we're going to use the drop method. We're going to drop index and make the axis a 1. So we go down. Okay, so that is our final data frame. So we're not going to do any more sort of manipulating towards the data frame. We're just going to plot it now, because now that we have these in order, we have our top 10. That's what we're focused on now. So let's go ahead and get to the fun part. I mean, it's all fun, but you know, it's always cool to see, like, visually see like your results and all the hard work that you put in. It's really cool to visually see it. So in order to make a bar plot, we're actually going to take these countries, and these are going to be our x-axis, and then this population growth is going to be our y-axis. So our top 10 countries, we're going to make a list of our top 10 of the top 10 countries. So that is China, India, USA, Definitely, guys, I encourage you, if there's a better way to do it, then, you know, feel free, you know, you can leave me a comment below and let me know, you know, there's definitely an easier way to do anything that I'm doing. I'm always trying to learn something new every day. Alright, so that was our x-axis. Now we're going to make our y-axis, which is our population growth. So I'll just call it pop grow. And what we're going to do is we're going to take our data frame, pop growth. So this pop growth is this data frame right here. We're going to grab the population growth. And here's the thing. When I was doing this before, you're going to see that the bar plot, it goes up to a number, and it goes up to, I believe, to 1 with a 1E8, which is a very, very, very high number. So what I actually am going to go do, what I'm doing here is I'm dividing this population growth column by 1,000,000. That way, it's a lot more readable in the bar plots than as it's going to, you know, a crazy number. So as you can see, like, so 1 2 3 1 2 3 2 3, so we have 762, you know, million. So it goes all the way up to 8 million. But this, with me doing this, dividing it by 1,000,000, it's going to be a lot more readable. Okay. And we'll, like, you know, we'll make up for that when we label our y-axis, because we'll be putting in parentheses that it's in millions, so people will know that it is in millions. It's just, you know, as you're showing this to people, you know, you don't want to have too many exponents or too many, you know, symbols or jargon or whatnot in there. You want to make it pretty straightforward for, you know, easy readability. So to make 1,000,000, you do 10 exponent 6, and that's how you make 1,000,000. And that's just mean, if you don't know, that's just, you know, 10 to the power of 6. Alrighty, so now we're going to make our bar chart, plt.bar, and we're going to use top countries for our x-axis, and we're going to use pop grow for our y-axis. And then we're gonna go ahead and give it some different features. Let's definitely give it a title. We'll call it I don't know. We'll call it population. We'll call it top countries with the I think this is the one I have on the title I have on my project on GitHub anyway. Top countries with the biggest population growth from 1952 to 2007. So that was our title. Now let's give it the X label. So this will be the label on our x-axis, which we are countries. Same with our Y label. And this will be our population growth. And that way we'll know that it's in millions. And then let's go ahead and as I was doing this before too, you'll see that some of the countries, I mean, if you make your figure size big enough, it won't matter, but I think it was pretty aesthetic, what I'm about to do. And try it out with me and definitely play around with it, and try out the different parameters you can work with. But it's just try to take this project and expand upon it, and definitely make it your own. So with this, I'm actually going to rotate I'm gonna rotate these x-axis labels over here. These little tick marks that are going to reference each bar. So I'm going to rotate them. It's a lot more aesthetic, I noticed. So rotation. So plt.x ticks, and then you're going to put rotation parameter, and you can put. And this is just your degree, so you can play around with the degree. I just made it 45 degrees. And then now what I want to do is, because the thing is with this with the bar graph, it doesn't actually label the numbers on the graph, so you kind of just have to look at the y-axis and just kind of reference, or just kind of guess what number that is. I mean, unless you're actually looking at the actual data frame. But in order to avoid doing that, I added labels on top of the actual numbers. Like this number right here, I put this number on top of each individual bar, so it's easy to read. So in order to do that, this is what you do. Yeah, hold on, I just want to reference my notes really quick just to make sure. Okay, so this is what we're going to be doing then. So for this, we're going to be making a for loop, and we're going to be tying our top countries and our pop grow, these two right here. We're going to be tying these together, and we're going to be formatting this number right here on top of each individual bar. So in order to do that, we're actually going to make a for loop. So we're going to do for x, y, and zip top countries, and so this is our countries, and then this is our population growth. And we're going to make our label. And within this label, all this means right here is that when we get these values on top of each bar, that this 2 right here will mean that we get 2 decimals after, or 2 integers or numbers after the decimal. So you can play around with that, but that just gives you a little bit more precision if that's what you want. And we're going to format the y in there. And now we're going to be doing something. We're going to be using a function called, or a method called, I believe it's called annotate. So annotate just allows you to tie text with other things. So with in this case with graphs. So we're going to be doing plt.annotate, and we're going to be putting our label in there. We got our X and our Y. So this is just going to be the point to our label. So this label here, this is the actual text, and this is the point to our label, and then this parameter. This will tell us the position of our text on our bar chart. And then XY text is actually the distance from our points, from these points right here. So this first number is, going from horizontally, and then the second number will be how much spacing vertically. So you'll see, and I'll kind of point it out to you, but this, yeah, like I said, like if you had a bar chart, this number, and you had like a number on top of that bar, this number would, the higher the number, it would push it to the right, and then the higher this number is, it'll push it up. So that's just kind of like with spacing. And then your horizontal alignment, you get a few choices. You get left, you get center, and you get right. So I'm going to make mine center. And I believe, let me just look over this code really quick. I think I got everything. I got my for loop. Yep, that should be it. Okay, so all I'm going to do now is my plt.show, shift enter, and let's see if we got any errors. Oh, nope. Okay. So as you can see, like with this for loop, or this right here, this is what allowed us to put these numbers here on top. So if you make a label, like this number 2 here gave us how many decimals behind, so you can see if I didn't divide this by 1,000,000, then this would go up to 1E8, it would go up to 8 million. So you can see that me dividing it by that, it's a lot less. So see if I'm missing anything, but you see how it's a lot cooler to visually see something. Okay, yeah, with the XY text, so like I said, the higher this number is, it's gonna push it, like it would push this number to the right. The higher this number is, it would push it up further. So you can play around with that. Definitely, tweak it, make it your own. This data set is it is limited, but I'm hoping you could either find something within here, or just I encourage you guys to just explore and just find different things that spark your curiosity, and just make projects out of it, and definitely share your knowledge with everyone. So it's definitely something I would encourage you guys to do. Keep learning every day. Don't worry too much about and one of the biggest things is how much knowledge and how much there is to learn. So as long as you're being repetitive and you're doing it every single day, or if you're trying to make at least some sort of time, even if it's just like 10 minutes a day, try to involve yourself within whatever path you're trying to go for. Okay, so I hope you guys have an awesome rest of the day, and I don't know if there's anything for me else to say. Just keep on coding, keep on learning every day, and definitely share your guys' knowledge. And if you guys ever want to, if you guys want to give me some, feedback, I definitely know I need to work on my speaking. So that's one thing I need to be working on. I'm trying to make a channel where it's more along the lines of teaching beginners like Python and more data analysis, and then I eventually want to get into more machine learning, and then teaching people more machine learning and then more deep learning. So I'm trying to formulate it like within that and kind of make like a, I guess, like a series in a way. I don't know. I'm just making videos. I figured it would be a good way to kind of get my name out there, but also connect with others. That's one thing. Like in my area, I'm sort of limited, locally of where people around me don't really like tech too much. So it's really nice to meet people who love this topic as much as I do. So with that being said, I hope you guys have a good rest of the day, like I probably said for the millionth time, and I will see you in the next video. So you guys take care. Bye bye.